Humans went to the moon, planted a flag, made history, and then did something that still makes no sense. We stopped, not slowed down, not paused, completely stopped sending humans to the moon for over 50 years. And the real question is, why? Because when you start digging into what actually happened behind the scenes, the official explanation begins to fall apart fast. And some of the alternative theories? They're honestly terrifying. Before we go deeper, hit like, subscribe, and stick with this, because what you're about to hear only gets stranger the further we go. Let's start at the moment everything seemed unstoppable. Back in the late 1960s, the world was locked in a brutal space race. The United States and the Soviet Union were competing for dominance beyond Earth. And when Apollo 11 successfully landed humans on the moon in 1969, it wasn't just a win, it was proof that humanity had entered a completely new era. But here's what most people don't realize. Apollo 11 wasn't the end goal, it was just the beginning. After that first landing, missions kept going. Apollo 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17 all successfully reached the moon. Each mission stayed longer, explored more, and gathered more data. The technology was improving fast. Scientists were already talking about building permanent moon bases. At that point, the logical next step was obvious. Go further, stay longer, and expand human presence beyond Earth. But then, everything changed. In 1972, Apollo 17 became the last time humans ever walked on the moon. And just like that, it was over. No more missions, no more landings, nothing. Even more strange? Apollo missions 18, 19, and 20 were already planned. Hardware was in development. Astronauts were training. And then they were abruptly canceled, right at the peak of progress. Think about that for a second. We didn't stop because we failed. We stopped when everything was working perfectly. So what happened? The official explanation sounds simple enough. Governments claimed the program was too expensive. The Vietnam War had drained resources. Public interest was fading, and NASA decided to shift focus toward the space shuttle program. On the surface, it sounds reasonable, but when you look closer, cracks start to appear. Because during the Cold War, space dominance wasn't just about science, it was about power. Walking away from the moon meant giving up a massive strategic advantage. And yet, both superpowers quietly backed off. No intense competition, no urgent return, just silence. And that's where the first unsettling theory begins. Maybe the moon is far more dangerous than we ever expected. The journey to the moon isn't just long, it's deadly. Astronauts have to pass through the Van Allen radiation belts, zones of intense radiation that can seriously damage human cells. Then there's the moon itself. Lunar dust, for example, isn't like Earth dust. It's made of sharp, jagged particles that can slice into lungs and damage equipment. Apollo astronauts actually reported that it stuck to everything and smelled like burnt gunpowder. Now imagine breathing that in. Then there's temperature swings. On the moon, temperatures can go from boiling hot to freezing cold in a matter of hours. And worst of all, solar flares. A strong solar flare during a moon mission could deliver lethal radiation in minutes. No atmosphere, no protection. So maybe, just maybe, the risks were simply too high. But here's the problem. NASA knew all of this before Apollo 11 even launched. They didn't suddenly discover these dangers in 1972. So why stop everything completely? That's where things take a darker turn. Because some people believe the real reason isn't what we were afraid of, but what we might have found. During the Apollo missions, astronauts reported strange readings and unexpected anomalies. Some transcripts, though heavily debated, suggest moments where astronauts seem confused, even uneasy, about things they were seeing. There are claims that certain recordings were cut from public broadcasts, that some footage was classified, that not everything made it back to Earth for public viewing. And then there are the stories surrounding Buzz Aldrin. The second man to walk on the moon has made a few interesting comments over the years. In one interview, he talked about seeing an object outside their spacecraft on the way to the moon, something that wasn't supposed to be there. NASA later explained it as a piece of debris, but Aldrin himself seemed unsure. Now think about that. You're on a mission hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from Earth, and you see something following you, something unexplained. And here's where it gets even more intense. There's a theory, often dismissed but still widely discussed, that Apollo astronauts encountered something on the moon itself. Not just objects, but structures, artificial-looking formations, unnatural shapes, things that didn't match any known geological processes. Now there's no confirmed evidence of this, but the idea refuses to disappear. Why? Because of one simple question. If we really found nothing unusual, why haven't we gone back in over 50 years? And this is where the most chilling theory comes in. Some believe we didn't leave the moon by choice. They believe we were warned. According to this theory, astronauts encountered a non-human presence, something observing but not interfering. And instead of aggression, there was a message. Not a threat, a warning. Don't come back. It sounds like science fiction. And maybe it is, but here's what keeps people hooked on this idea. Multiple astronauts have reported seeing unidentified objects during missions, not just on the moon, but in space itself. Fast-moving, controlled, intelligent. And while NASA has always provided explanations, not everyone is convinced. So now you're left with a puzzle that doesn't quite fit together. A successful program suddenly shut down. Dangerous conditions, but nothing new. Strange reports, but no clear answers. And decades of silence. But here's the twist most people don't expect. Because just when it seemed like humanity had completely abandoned the moon, something changed. And what's happening right now might finally reveal the truth. But to understand that, we need to look at why the world is suddenly racing back to the moon again. And just when it seemed like the moon had become a forgotten chapter in human history, everything changed again. Because right now, multiple countries are racing back to the moon at the same time. Not slowly, not casually, aggressively. After staying away for over 5 decades, humanity suddenly wants the moon again. And not just to visit, but to stay. So what changed? Let's start with the obvious answer. Technology. Today we have far more advanced systems than anything used during the Apollo era. Reusable rockets, AI-assisted navigation, private aerospace companies pushing boundaries faster than governments ever could. Companies like SpaceX are building spacecraft designed not just to reach the moon, but to make regular trips possible. At the same time, NASA has launched the Artemis program, aiming to land humans on the moon again and establish a long-term presence. But here's where things get interesting. This isn't just about exploration anymore. It's about control. Because the moon is no longer seen as just a destination, it's a resource. Recent discoveries have confirmed the presence of water ice in permanently shadowed craters near the moon's poles. And that changes everything. Water means oxygen, it means drinking supply, and more importantly, it means rocket fuel, which means the moon could become a refueling station for deep space missions. Think about that. Instead of launching everything from Earth, future missions to Mars and beyond could start from the moon, saving massive amounts of energy and cost. And suddenly, the moon isn't just a rock in space, it's a gateway. Now add geopolitics into the mix. Countries like China and Russia have also announced ambitious lunar plans. Robotic missions are already mapping the surface, studying resources, and identifying potential base locations. This is starting to look a lot like the space race all over again. But this time, it's not just about planting a flag, it's about ownership. And here's the question that should make you pause. If the moon is so valuable now, was it always this valuable? Because if it was, then why did we abandon it for so long? Some believe the answer is simple. We weren't ready before. Others think it's more complicated. Because returning now might mean we've finally solved whatever problem made us leave in the first place. Think back to the dangers we talked about earlier. Radiation, solar flares, extreme temperatures. With modern technology, we're developing better shielding, smarter habitats, and more advanced life support systems. So maybe, just maybe, we now have the tools to handle risks that were once too big. But that still doesn't explain the silence. It doesn't explain why no country seriously attempted a human return for decades, not even as a demonstration of power. And that's why some people believe there's still something we're not being told. Because here's a pattern you can't ignore. When something is truly meaningless, Countries don't compete for it, but when something is extremely valuable or extremely important, they do. And right now, the moon is becoming the center of global attention again. So what are we really going back for? Resources, strategic advantage, scientific discovery, or something else entirely? Here's a chilling possibility. What if the moon holds answers we weren't ready to face back then, but are now desperate to understand? Because over the past few years, space agencies have become more open about something they used to avoid completely. Unidentified objects in space, reports from military pilots, declassified footage, acknowledgements that there are things moving in ways we don't fully understand. And while none of this directly confirms anything about the moon, it changes the conversation, because now the idea that we might not be alone or that something unexplained exists beyond Earth is no longer instantly dismissed. And if that possibility is even slightly real, then going back to the moon isn't just exploration, it's investigation. Now let's connect everything. We went to the moon during a time of intense competition and succeeded. We planned to continue trying, but suddenly stopped. We stayed away for decades, despite having the capability to return. And now, multiple powerful nations are rushing back at the same time. That's not random, that's a shift. And shifts like this usually happen for a reason. Maybe the official explanation is enough for you. Budget cuts, changing priorities, evolving technology. Or maybe it's not the full story. Maybe the truth is layered, partly political, partly technological, and partly something we still don't fully understand. Because the moon isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It's been there for billions of years, silent, unchanging, watching. And the fact that we reached it, walked on it, and then disappeared for half a century, that's the part that doesn't sit right. But now we're going back, and this time, it's not just a visit. It's the beginning of something bigger. Permanent bases, long-term missions, a stepping stone to Mars and beyond. Which means one thing is almost certain. Whatever made us leave before, we're about to face it again. So the real question isn't just why we stopped going to the moon, it's this. What are we about to discover now that we're going back? If you made it this far, you already know this story is far from simple. So tell me in the comments, what do you think is the real reason we left the moon? And more importantly, are we ready for what we might find when we return? If you enjoyed this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the next story might be even more unsettling than this one. And trust me, you don't want to miss it.